So why do you think it was kind of feisty out there today?
Second day after an off day. Yesterday was an intense practice, and just, everyone's getting tired of hitting each other. And camp, it's what happens in the NFL about this time every year, every team.
How would you assess the work of the offense in the preseason opener?
There was good and bad, obviously. I was really pleased with the protection with the ones. Left some yards on the field in the run game that way, but it was good to see 17 get out there. I know he was really amped up for the game. You could just feel his energy in his feet a little bit, but it was really good for him to get out there, and I was pleased for the most part how they performed.
David Fells, how do you think he performed out there on Thursday?
I thought he did a pretty good job. Made a couple really good throws, got us in a couple plays. The post obviously threw to 82 was a really good throw, and we keep telling these guys that how we'll make decisions is the guy that gets the team in the end zone, and he's done a good job with that stuff. He needs to continue to show and improve every week.
Outside of outside of that fumble by Kalen Balaj, how do you think he performed?
He was solid. We can't. The one big emphasis we put when starting the season was we need to eliminate all the pre-snap penalties, and you guys have seen that. We've got guys taking laps, running sprints after practice, and the turnovers. You guys have heard it. It's a cliche, but it's real. Like, to win this league, you have to find ways not to lose. And when you put the ball on the ground on a third down conversion, that's the other thing is. You've run over two guys and sent two guys to the sideline, and then you're hurdling people. It's a great show of athleticism, but we got to keep working with him. He's got to keep getting better, and he will.
You've done this a minute. From your experience, what's going to be the best way to really minimize that pre-snap stuff?
Just keep, number one, these guys need to understand it's not going to be tolerated. Like, you're not going to be here if that keeps happening. We have to clean it up. We're the ones did a good job with it. We had the one holding call. There wasn't all on number 70. The guard snapped out on the guy and pushed him, and 70's got to fit his hands up inside better. But it needs to be this week. We need to be better with that, and we don't need to have any pre-snap penalties. And we're going to keep preaching it. And there's going to be consequences when it's not, not happening or when it starts to happen.
Any of the young guys catch your eye in that game?
I thought Bryce Petty did a nice job. He came in and had a couple checks and showed great energy and kind of rallied the troops that way. I think all of them kind of flashed. The first one to me is just get out there, let them experience playing in the NFL for the first time, and let's see how they do in week 2, week 3, week 4, and hopefully the one thing we preach around here is don't make the same mistake twice. There's gonna be times when they mess up, like Kalen and these guys, but you got to continue to make new mistakes.
How would you assess Mike Gesicki's progress in terms of his blocking? It's such a hot topic of conversation.
Well, he was down at 9-on-7 today, and I went to 1-on-1, and Coach Gase went to 9-on-7. So when he walked down to 1-on-1s, I was like, "Hey, get out here! We didn't draft you to block, but we drafted you to come catch touchdowns in the red area." And he's had his best days of practice. You guys have seen it in the red area catching passes, and we'll keep getting better with that. And he's working really hard. The good thing is he's not afraid to stick his face in there. So it's he's gonna we didn't draft him to be a killer at the point of attack. We drafted him to make plays in the red area, convert third downs, make explosive plays on first and second down, and he's gonna have to learn how to block and stuff. But we'll put him in good situations once the bullets are real, and we'll keep putting him out there and letting him go through these struggles and blocking. Our defensive ends are good players.
What's the key to being more efficient and effective on third downs?
It's a great question. Yeah. No.
Previously, but that's been really an issue at point of
you can't be frustrated when it's 3rd and 11 and you don't convert. You got to look back. You don't treat the symptom, treat the problem. You got a negative yard run, you pass up a progression on. So it's 2nd and 11, you pass up a progression on 2nd and 11, and all of a sudden you're in 3rd and 11. The key to that is you got to be really good on 1st and 2nd down. You got to stay efficient and stay ahead of the chains, and you can't have pre-snap penalties. You can't have holding penalties, and you got to be really disciplined in your progressions at the quarterback position and make sure you keep moving the chains. And we talk to the quarterbacks all the time about be aggressive in the timing of the play. So don't pass up one to move to the second progression when one's open. And that way you have the ability to get in 3rd and 6 or less. We'll be okay at 3rd and 6 or less, but you got to be pretty dang good at quarterback and a pretty good offense to continually convert 3rd and 11, 3rd and 10s.
What do you like about Perry when he gets in there?
Coach Perry, wow, he's come a long way. We call him Coach Perry. We had him in Chicago, and he was predominantly a special teams player. But the one thing he's done a great job of studying and learning. He's definitely a competitive guy. He plays with a lot of intensity, and just how much where he's come from 2015 to when I got here has been shocking to me. His knowledge of the offense, and really proud of how he's learned and worked. And so he's kind of become a guy that he's dependable.
So
He's available.
That's where he got that Coach Perry from, just the knowledge of the offense?
Well, it was. And, David Fales was with us in Chicago, and when he was a young player, he made a lot more mistakes than he makes now. And now he has an understanding. He's over there, grabbing people. When he was in Chicago, David Fales would take him one-on-one, and during walkthroughs, and be like, what do you got here on this play? And now all of a sudden, Coach Perry's correcting people. And, just to see him grow as a player and individual has been pretty cool. I'm excited to see how the rest of preseason goes for him.
With two players, you have the history with David Fales and Senor. How much of it is just comfort level?
It's comfort level, and the one thing David has made a huge he's a lot stronger than he was in 2015, and he's worked really hard with our strength staff here in the summer. He committed to Pilates and all these other things, and you can tell really put an emphasis on strengthening his core, and it's shown up. He is a stronger player, and I think it's helping him, be efficient in the offense and run it. And it also helps when you've been in the offense for 3 or 4 years. You start to have a real understanding, because that's how David's going to make this roster, make this team, and continue to compete for the 2 spot. Is he needs to master this stuff and know it inside and out. Ownership. We keep telling these guys, as a coach, Coach Gase can only tell them so many times. Eventually, it's their responsibility and to control this stuff. We can only say it so many times, where it means more if all of a sudden you bust a protection and the quarterback throws you out. Well, there's no one you want to disappoint more than your teammates. And when you walk in the huddle and walk in the locker room, those guys have to trust you. And so the level of accountability, to me, that's where Ryan took a step. Is it needs to be understood. You step in the huddle with the ones, and you get that opportunity, which a lot of rookies don't get. You have to earn that right. And so for Ryan to hold him accountable, I think it was the absolute right thing to do.
How have you seen him grow?
It's hard for me to speak because this is my first year, obviously. But for him to take that step and say, hey, this isn't acceptable. This isn't the standard we set. That's what it needs to happen. It needs to happen more offensively. It needs to happen on the defense. When things start to go that way, it has to come from the players. A coach can only do so much. We're not in the huddle with them. The coaches aren't the ones creating penalties. It's our job to put them in situations to be successful, but they need to hold each other accountable and set the standard for themselves.
Dowell, can you talk a little bit about the red zone offense on this team? What do you see as the upside? How much talent do you see when you line up at the 20-yard line and you have all those options?
Yeah, well, most importantly is staying efficient and getting down there. But we have some guys that should be. Danny Amendola's been a really good red area guy for his whole career. I think the one thing that all good red area teams do is they run the football well. You have to be able to run the football down there, and then that creates the one-on-ones for guys like Mike Gesicki and 11 and those guys to throw the ball outside the numbers, throw the fades, throw the back shoulders, and be able to create all those pick plays and all the things that this offense has done for a long time.
Does Adam have a separate playbook for the red zone, or is it just encompassed from the entire playbook?
Adam has a different playbook for everything.
He does?
Yes. So we definitely have a red area package. And for me, it's been interesting. We were together in 2015 to get here and see where it's at right now, compared to when we got to Chicago and I got to see the 12, 13, 14 tape they were at Denver, and we're getting there. We're getting it all in, and we're still not there. It's probably operating about 60%. And there's still a lot of things that we haven't got to, and as we grow as an offense and we find out what each one of these players is, coach will say, hey, this is what we're going to do with this guy, and this is what we're going to do with this guy, and we do create game plan plays for those guys in different situations in the red area.
Hey, Dowell, you guys have had some injuries at the tight end position, especially among the veterans, another one today. At what point does that become an issue? I know it gives the younger guys some playing time, but you kind of want to see those older guys too, right?
Yes, sir. We'd love to see everybody, and we're going to worry about what we can control, and we can't control injuries. So our mentality is this next man up, and we can't control that, and we're not going to spend a whole lot of time worrying about that, because it should be a room that we should be getting better every day, and we drafted 2 players in that room for a reason, and whoever's in there and whoever gets that opportunity better compete, because it is a room that there is some competition in.
And did you feel you've gotten a good look at Derby and Marquise? I mean, I know you saw him during OTAs and minicamp also.
Hey, I was with Marquise in Cleveland in 2014, and coach has been around him. Like, we have a good evaluation of him and AJ. Like, he was here last year, and so the most important thing is, like, we need to figure out these young guys as well. And like preseason, like, we're not ready to make a determination on anyone at this point, but the more reps they can get, the more situations they get put in, like, they need all of it.
Up-tempo offense, I'm sorry, Chris. It seems to me, I might be wrong, that you guys are doing more and more of it as training camp has gone on. It seems like you're getting better at it, but can you take me kind of through that and how it looked in Tampa, and are you progressing at the up-tempo?
Well, it's something that Adams has always been a big part of his offense. I don't know if he huddled very much in 13 and 14 at all, and we're kind of a mixture in Chicago, and it takes time. Like, that's the thing. In Denver, they had a little bit of time, and we're getting into the year 3, and it's year 3, 4, and 5 when all of a sudden, like, it starts. They have a complete understanding of that. That's a big reason why Coach liked Danny Amendola, is to be able to get him in there and operate in some of those no huddle situations. And we'll be a team that huddles, and we will run some no huddle as well.
Del, the Bucks won some Thursday night. Their defense looked pretty strong against the offensive line. Do you guys have any concerns with your offensive line, and just right now maybe the cohesion that they have?
No, I was actually pleased with our 2s as well versus their 1s. I thought they did a good job. I thought we did a good job in pass pro. The biggest thing we wanted to see with our 1s was not anything other than, hey, pre-snap penalties, the sacks, turnovers. Like, go out there, get used to playing in a game together for the first time, and each week it needs to get better. Like, we're not going to be instant evaluators and make evaluations based on that, but it is a good start for us.
Is it better at this point to have Ryan mobile? We saw him obviously on that first play at the preseason game, but have him mobile out there, and is that something you're looking to do a lot this year because of just maybe some of the blocking depth that you might have?
He had a lot of success in 2016 on the move and doing those things, and obviously he's a good athlete. So we'll continue to mix that stuff in as the defense allows us. We felt like we'd get on the edge against Tampa and do those things, and did a pretty decent job. He obviously had the first play, an explosive pass right out of the gate on the move, and it's good for him to get out there and he doesn't practice, but doing it in a game is completely different. So just so he builds confidence in going out there and doing that.